Milliseconds. That is the unit of measurement in Formula One, the sport where the difference between winning and losing is often invisible to the naked eye. Not seconds, not tenths, milliseconds. Every centimeter of the front wing, every curve of the bodywork, every gram of fuel burned is the result of millions of calculations made before the car is even assembled. And those calculations, in the vast majority of cases, run on Linux. 2026 is a special year for Formula One. New technical regulations, new power units, an aerodynamic revolution that completely redesigns the cars. Teams have worked for years on these changes, and a large part of that work happened on Linux clusters with open source software in server rooms that never make headlines but are just as decisive as the engine or the tires. Today we go behind the scenes. Inside the data centers, inside the software that no sponsor puts on a car, but without which no car would ever make it to the starting grid. This is the invisible side of Formula One. Buckle up. There is a phrase that has circulated for years in Formula One paddocks. Among engineers and technical directors, the race is won in the factory. This is not rhetoric. It is a precise description of how this sport actually works. By the time a car hits the track during a Grand Prix weekend, most of the fundamental decisions about its aerodynamics, its balance, its load distribution have already been made. They were made weeks, months, sometimes years before, based on simulations, data, and computational models. Think about it. A Formula One team makes an average of one modification to the car every 20 minutes over the course of a season. Every change, a different turning vane on the front wing, a redesigned brake duct, a variation in the floor profile has to be tested. And testing physically in a wind tunnel or on track is expensive, slow, and heavily regulated. This is the real engine of modern Formula One, computational simulation. And computational simulation, at any scale, requires computing power. A lot of computing power. The kind you get from clusters of thousands of cores. The kind of operating system that manages those clusters, in almost every case in the scientific and engineering world, is Linux. This is not an ideological choice. It is a technical, economic, and practical one. Linux is the dominant operating system in high-performance computing, HPC. If you look at the list of the 500 most powerful supercomputers in the world, they all run Linux. Every single one. That is not a coincidence. It is the result of decades of development, optimization, and a community that built extraordinary tools that the scientific and industrial world adopted because they simply work better. Formula One is no different. Let's get specific. How do Formula One teams actually use Linux? The answer is, at every level. The heart of an F1 team's computing infrastructure is the HPC cluster. Hundreds or thousands of processors connected in a network working in parallel to solve enormous computational problems. These clusters run on Linux, typically enterprise distributions like Red Hat Enterprise Linux, Rocky Linux, or CentOS, because Linux offers the stability, scalability, and low-level optimization that proprietary systems simply cannot match. McLaren has been one of the most open teams when it comes to talking publicly about their use of Linux. For years they worked with SGI, Silicon Graphics International, for their HPC systems. And SGI was not only supplying Linux systems to McLaren, they worked with several F1 teams, even if not all of them were willing to go on record about it. In Formula One, technological confidentiality is absolute. A competitive advantage is never shared. Mercedes-AMG Petronas announced a multi-year partnership with AMD in 2020, using EPYC processors to power their aerodynamic simulations. The declared result was a 20% improvement in computational efficiency. 20% on top of simulations that were already running on top-tier hardware. Translated into practical terms, more simulations in the same amount of time, or higher fidelity simulations, or both. Ferrari has built one of the largest private data centers in the world at their headquarters in Maranello. An integrated supercomputer running on high-performance processors dedicated entirely to CFD simulations and data analysis. When Ferrari's engineers say an aerodynamic modification has worked, before it ever goes on the car, they trust that system, those calculations, that Linux infrastructure. And then there is a data point that I find particularly striking. Renault F1, now Alpine, publicly stated that a simulation which previously required 3 weeks of computation became completable in 18 hours after moving to Linux HPC systems. 3 weeks to 18 hours. That completely changes the pace of development. It changes how many iterations you can run, how many configurations you can explore, how much distance you can put between yourself and the competition. There is also a cultural dimension worth mentioning. The engineers who join Formula One teams come from the best engineering and physics universities in the world. And in those universities, computational research is done on Linux, with open source tools, with Python, with open source CFD solvers, with scientific libraries that are the product of decades of collaborative development. When these engineers arrive at an F1 team, they bring that mindset with them. And the teams that understood this did not fight that tendency. They embraced it. Now let's get to the real technical core of all this. CFD, Computational Fluid Dynamics. If you want to understand why Linux matters so much in Formula One, you need to understand what CFD is and what it demands. CFD is the numerical simulation of fluid behavior, in this case, air, around an object. In Formula One, that object is a car traveling at 250-330 kilometers per hour. Air does not behave intuitively at those speeds. Downforce is generated, aerodynamic drag is created, complex vortices form around the wheels, under the floor, around the wings. Every element of the car interacts with every other element in ways no engineer can calculate by hand. CFD takes all of that complexity and turns it into equations. It divides the space around the car into millions, sometimes hundreds of millions of tiny cells. For each cell, it calculates pressure, velocity, temperature. And it does this iteratively, converging progressively toward the real solution. The number of cells a Formula One team uses for a high-fidelity simulation can exceed 1 billion. 1 billion cells. Each one interacting with its neighbors in a calculation that repeats for thousands of iterations. Now you understand why you need a cluster of thousands of cores, and you understand why those clusters run on Linux. The FIA, the Fédération Internationale de l'Automobile, recognized that CFD had become such a powerful competitive advantage that it was creating enormous disparities between well-funded teams and those with tighter budgets. And they responded in the most Formula One way possible. By regulating it, teams now have a limited computational budget for aerodynamic simulations. It used to be measured in teraflops. Then the FIA moved to a system called MAH, Mega Allocation Units per Hour. The concept is simple. You cannot use as much hardware as you want. You have an allocation, and you have to decide how to use it. This fundamentally changed how teams approach simulation. It is no longer just about having the most powerful cluster, but about using it in the most intelligent way. Optimizing workflows, choosing which configurations to simulate and which to skip, extracting maximum value from every hour of compute time. And here, again, Linux and open source software play a central role. Because an operating system you can optimize at a deep level, that you can configure exactly as you need, that does not impose arbitrary limitations, allows you to waste fewer computational resources. Every core that is not wasted on system overhead is a core working on the simulation. Now let's talk about the software itself. Because so far we have been talking about infrastructure, but what actually runs on those clusters? The answer that surprises many people is often OpenFOAM. OpenFOAM, Open Field Operation and Manipulation, is a completely open source CFD toolkit, originally developed by OpenCFD and now available in several variants, including the one maintained by the OpenFOAM Foundation. It is written in C++, runs on Linux, and it is free. Completely free. No licensing fees, no per-core costs, no limits on the number of simulations you can run. In Formula One, its adoption is real, documented, and significant. Braun GP, the team that won the 2009 championship in one of the most extraordinary stories in F1 history, used OpenFOAM for their simulations. Honda F1, before their withdrawal, had chosen to move away from commercial CFD codes entirely and switch to OpenFOAM. That is a massive technical statement. A team with virtually unlimited resources choosing open source software not because it is cheaper, but because it is better suited to their needs. And why is it better? Because you can modify it. Because you have full access to the source code. If the standard turbulence model does not fit the specific geometry of your car, you change it. If you need a custom solver for an aerodynamic configuration that no other team has ever explored, you write it. With commercial software, you are constrained by what the vendor decided to implement. With OpenFOAM, the only limit is the competence of your engineering team. OpenFOAM integrates natively with ParaView, another open-source tool developed by Kitware in collaboration with national laboratories, which handles the visualization of results. The pressure maps you see in broadcast graphics, airflow visualized as colored arrows around the car, the kind of analysis that produces them gets visualized with tools like ParaView. But Formula One is not only aerodynamics, it is also data. During a Grand Prix, a single car generates hundreds of gigabytes of telemetry data. Every sensor, and there are hundreds of them, continuously transmits information. Brake temperatures, tire pressures, lateral g-forces, fuel consumption, steering wheel position, steering angle, DRS status. This data arrives at the pit wall in real time, gets analyzed, and influences strategic decisions moment by moment. Behind that analysis is Python. The scientific Python ecosystem, NumPy, SciPy, Pandas, Matplotlib, is the standard toolset that data engineers and F1 teams use to process telemetry, build predictive models, and simulate pit stop strategies. Python runs on Linux, and all of these libraries are open source. There is also FastF1, an open source Python library that gives access to historical Formula One data. It is not used by the teams themselves. They have far more sophisticated direct access, but it has become a reference point for data scientists and enthusiasts who want to do serious analysis on F1 data. The fact that it exists, that it works, and that it is completely open source says something about the maturity level that the open source tooling ecosystem has reached. And then there is OpenFOAM, an open source API that provides real-time access to live telemetry during Grand Prix. Lap times, speeds, weather data, race control messages, all accessible via API, all free, all built by the community. It is not an official Formula One product. It is someone who decided that data should be accessible and built the tool to make it happen. 2026 is the year of major change. New power units with a different balance between thermal and electrical components. New aerodynamics, shorter, lighter cars with an active aero concept not seen in Formula One for decades. Every team has had to essentially restart their aerodynamic development from scratch. That means years of simulations. Years of Linux clusters running 24 hours a day. Years of engineers interpreting OpenFOAM results at 3 in the morning, trying to understand why the flow under the floor behaves differently than predicted. Years of data, iterations, and decisions. The car you will see on track in 2026 is the result of all of this. Of millions of hours of computation, of open source software that allowed brilliant engineers to do things no commercial tool would have made possible in the same way, of Linux running silently on clusters and laptops and servers, the way Linux always runs, without making noise, without demanding attention, simply working. There is a certain irony in all of this. Formula One is the sport of glamour, of millions, of exclusive paddocks and hospitality suites that belong in luxury magazines. And at the center of its most advanced technology is software that anyone can download for free, that anyone can modify, that anyone can study, learn from, and use. Linux is not just the operating system on the server in your home, or the workstation you use for work, or the Raspberry Pi sitting in a drawer somewhere. It is the invisible infrastructure that runs a significant part of the world around us, including the most technologically advanced sport that exists. The next time you watch a Grand Prix and you see a front wing deflecting air with surgical precision, or a car holding a corner at speeds that seem physically impossible, remember that behind that perfection is a simulation. And that simulation, in all likelihood, ran on Linux. This was my journey inside the invisible technology of Formula One. See you in the next video, and may Linux be with you.